Hello, thank you for joining me. Just a very quick, unscripted sort of update. I know it's the run up to Halloween. I know a lot of you do things and plan things for Halloween. I've done nothing, so this is, I never do really. This isn't going to be Halloween themed. This is just another little ramble. I've been out in the wilds. I've been out in the wilds of Actually, it's not that wild. East Sussex. I didn't quite come away empty-handed. What did I come away with? Well, from a little bookshop tucked away in a village in the Downs, a little second-hand section in there. I found, I believe this is 60s vintage. Doesn't say. I think it's probably 60s vintage. One of those old puffin paperbacks. I remember at junior school. No, I was at junior school later than the 60s really, but there used to be this kind of puffing, I suppose it was like a puffing club thing where this, every couple of terms you'd get this little catalogue and you'd try and scrounge up the cash from your parents to choose 3 titles. I don't remember this one from the time, but puffin were good for these kind of slightly mysterious, sometimes a little bit supernatural children's stories. I don't know if this one strictly counts as supernatural. I get some bleed from angry street drinkers shouting outside. That wasn't a problem in East Sussex, I found. But anyway, this is a story which combines tremendous adventure with everyday life in a village. Children have to catch the daily bus to school, struggle to get homework done, give help at home, look after their own ponies. And the scene being on Romney Marsh. I was just there a few weeks ago, coincidentally. Horses and ponies are a normal part of life, and they said, la, 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 la. Then a man came along and thought a holiday camp in the ruined castle with a bar in the Marrows farm would be a good venture. All the Marsh people wondered what would happen to their homes and sheep and fields. It looked like the end of the world for them till Rissa and Tamsin had an idea. Jim the ferryman really put the idea of the White Riders into their heads, and what fun they had. So I think I've only got a few pages into this. I think this is probably one of those impersonations of the supernatural in order to scare off the man kind of stories. But anyway, looks quite promising. Monica Edwards is the author, by the way. Next up, I'm not familiar with the author or the title. It just sort of jumped out on the shelf, from the shelf on me. Another of those sort of, I suppose, post-colonial Africa type of adventure man fiction stories. Yeah, probably loosely of a genre with the wild geese, and I've got a couple of others. There's one called The Rain Goddess. I forget the author, but this looks like another of those. After Vietnam, any job looked good to Clyde Peterson. So when an old friend offered him some quick money running guns in Africa, he decided to get in on the action. But once in the hellish jungles of Angola with savage revolutionaries and homicidal drug smugglers at every turn, Peterson realised he'd have to earn every cent the hard way. That sounds like a bit of a tough job. He was no stranger to danger, but I like it. But he wasn't prepared for the dirtiest double deal. There's a lot of alliteration in this. He wasn't prepared for the dirtiest double deal of all, and he'd be lucky if he lived to collect the cash. I'm guessing he does. Anyway, next up, I had no idea, because another of those situations where it turns out a 70s comedy series had been novelised. I keep running into these, and I'm constantly surprised by them. I think a little while ago I found a Porridge novel. Now there's a Reggie Perrin novel. Now whether the novel came, I don't really know. Whether perhaps the novels did come before the series in this case. David Nobbs, author of The Itinerant Lodger, Ostrich Country, and A Piece of the Sky is Missing, as well as the Reginald Perrin books, is a highly successful television scriptwriter. Anyway, sort of reading the blurb for this, it only just occurred to me that Reginald Perrin's initials, his middle name is Iolanthe. That was a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. His initials are R.I.P. That never occurred to me before. But anyway, again, a surprise to me. I think this is the third series, the third novel for the third series. So, which I remember watching as a kid. You know, it was one of those things. You know, one of the better comedies that I remember from the period. So, pleasant surprise to run into that. Now, I suppose it's just as well that I'm getting motivated to make this video, because many of us are to have any shout of monetising under the current rules, and I don't yet. But what you need to do is to be able to say you've uploaded 3 videos in the last 3 months. So it's good to keep them regular on that front, and also not to do so, that would be failure to communicate. So last of all, again, I'd never encountered the novel of this before. I think the same author was responsible for the screenplay. Most of us have seen it. I haven't seen it in some years. Cool Hand Luke by Don, with 2 N's, Pierce. Now, this I think is a 90s edition. It was first published, looks like 1965, so it's discussing, I suppose, that sort of post-war period, the experience of a convict in the southern states in those days. Not a comfortable life by the look of it. A few words on the author here. Cool Hand Luke was Don Pierce's first novel, published in the USA in 1965. Mr. Pierce wrote the original film script for the well-known film based on his novel, and is also the author of 2 later novels, Pierhead Jump and Dying in the Sun. He has been a machinist's helper, a safecracker, a convict, a third mate in the Merchant Marine, and is currently a private investigator in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, USA. So I have actually, in the course of a day, quite quick reader when I turn my mind to it, I've got sort of about a third of the way in, sort of recognisable from the film. I've got as far as the notorious egg eating scene. Now, it's a long time, which brings to mind the Edie Matty character in the John Waters films. Oh, Mr. Eggman. But yeah, it's a long time since I've seen the film, so I don't remember every detail. I think the film might have edited out one detail of that scene is the flatulence, right? That you don't eat 50 hard-boiled eggs without stinking the house out, right? Or the jail, the cell block out. It goes into detail about some rattling reverberations. It doesn't. I was curious about the aftermath. What would happen if you ate 50 hard-boiled eggs? I would imagine you might need surgery to just unblock your lower intestine. What? I don't know. Does anyone with sort of medical knowledge know how that would really work? It sounds to me, I mean, there's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no roughage to speak of in an egg. Right? If you eat 50 of those on the go, I would guess you're storing up trouble for yourself and anyone around you. But anyway, I'm that far in. It's about a third of the book. It's it's told with a certain amount of humour, and it's told from another convict's point of view. He's already in the prison. They're already aware of Luke by reputation before he even arrives, due to his kind of rather laid-back conduct on being arrested. But very obviously very readable. I'll just blaze through this in the course of a day. So, it may even warrant sort of more detail if I get around to it. But anyway, that's it. It's not a bad little haul, just for a quick visit to a village bookshop. So, again, thank you for joining me. I hope everyone's doing all right out there. The way the world is, a scary place the world is in at the moment. Let's all take care of ourselves and each other. And see you soon, I hope. Bye.